Eagles, guys, also making some news last night by signing tight end Dallas Goedert to a one-year, $7 million deal, which helps the Eagles avoid a dead cap hit as well. So important there. They did lose Jahan Dotson in free agency, so this secures one of the Eagles' offensive threats to be back. And he's been a good weapon for Jalen Hurts, right? Goedert was a key part of this Philadelphia passing attack last season, catching a career-best 60 passes for 591 yards, heavily featured in the red zone, shattered his previous high with 11 touchdowns. And those 11 touchdown catches tied with first-team All-Pro Trey McBride for the most among tight ends in 2025. I'm not sure if we always talked about Dallas Goedert in that way, in that same conversation with McBride. But, Mina, how does this impact the Eagles' offense as they head into the draft and next season?
Yeah, I think it's helpful in a couple of ways. One, obviously, you have the familiarity. You talked about the red zone. How often have we seen Dallas Goedert be on the receiving end of the RPOs that they like to run? There's that institutional knowledge he brings back. I do like the fact this kind of flew under the radar that they finally brought in a blocking tight end, Johnny Munt from Minnesota, because to me, that's been really a missing component of this Eagles offense as Goedert has become less of a blocker. Now when they're running 12, maybe in 13 personnel, they have a blocking tight end, so he doesn't have to be in that role per se. But I also like it because of the flexibility it gives them in the draft. I'm a huge fan of the Oregon tight end, Kenyon Sadiq. Chase and I have talked about how much we both like him. I would love him in Philadelphia, but now there's no pressure necessarily to take him in the first round, especially if there's an edge, which is another glaring need they like there. So I like it when teams go into the draft not feeling like there's a glaring hole they desperately have to fill. They can let the draft fall to them. To me, having your tight end room makes it easier for them to do that, even if they take Sadiq, which I don't think should be off the table.
Yeah, it's making me think, okay, so Sadiq, A.J. Brown, you got Devontae Smith, you got Dallas Goedert, and then that makes you think about A.J. Brown, Adam, naturally, right? What's going on there? Are they going to hold on to this guy after everything that happened in free agency? It seems like maybe they are for now.
Yeah, there have been trade discussions, and the Eagles have been steadfast all along that they wouldn't move A.J. Brown unless they got back a return package that they felt was fair and sufficient. That has not happened just yet. And it doesn't seem like it's going to be happening anytime soon. For the time being, A.J. Brown trade talks are on hold. That doesn't mean that he couldn't be traded before the draft or sometime around June 1st when the math surrounding his trade would dramatically shift and would be much more easy to make a trade post June 1. But right now, it seems like the trade talks have been tabled. They're on hold. They're not happening right now. And we'll see if they heat back up again. But getting Dallas Goedert back gives them another weapon. They still have a hole, as you mentioned, by losing Jahan Dotson. So now, if we're in a world where they don't have A.J. Brown, they don't have A.J. Brown, they don't have Jahan Dotson, they don't have two of their top three wide receivers next year, and you take a look at the notable moves that they've already made this offseason. You see the emphasis on the defensive side of the football with some of the players that they've lost. They wanted back Jalen Phillips. They lost him. They knew they'd lose Nakobe Dean. They knew they'd lose Reed Blankenship, and Jahan Dotson was a loss at wide receiver. So this is a team that, for all its capital and all the talent it has, it does have holes to address here the remainder of the offseason.
Chase, what do you think they should do? Move A.J. Brown if they can find the right trade partner?
I think so. I mean, I think it's without a doubt. The writing's on the wall. Look, A.J. Brown, even ever since he was reading a book on the sideline, I think just seems disinterested, especially with the quarterback play at times and the inconsistencies of Jalen Hurts.
Okay, you're done there, buddy. I'm sorry. That's all I could take out of you. I feel like, what is it around the horn when he's like, you're silenced? And he just like mutes him. That's what we're doing here. Okay, listen. I swear it's like all four of these people have never watched the Philadelphia Eagles. John Dodson now is a hole for the Philadelphia Eagles that they need to fill. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? And Dallas got it. Quite frankly, last season wasn't a weapon for Jalen Hurts. He was a weapon for Kevin Patchello. Absolutely for Kevin Patchello. Like Kevin Patchello knew how to operate tight ends, and that was something that I have whole videos breaking all that down. That's like the one thing that Kevin Pulo could do was had some pretty interesting and clever play designs and strategic play calling in the red zone with Dallas GD. But quite frankly, those 11 touchdowns could have been any tight end. They really could. Maybe not every single one of them, but the vast majority of them it's like you could have inserted any tight end in there. So, it wasn't necessarily unique to Dallas. Therefore, I don't see him as a weapon for Jalen. Not saying moving forward, not talking about 2024 and 2023 and 2022, nothing to that. I'm just talking about specifically last season. So, Dallas got it was very much a take it or leave it from my perspective for me. But then when you look at the fact that, the Eagles benefit with a dead cap in terms of keeping Dallas and all of that, all for that. I try to not think too hard about the void years and the dead cap and this and that because it's just like it's a mayhem. Every time I try to think about it, every time I want to understand it more and more deeply and at a higher level, I'm like, oh gosh, this is just so frustrating to keep having to wrap your head around it. So I think from that standpoint, I like it because again, it helps them out from a financial standpoint. Dallas GDR is still clearly good enough. Like he's not a liability. I think that's the thing for me. I think that's probably a good way to sum up Dallas. He's not a liability, but I don't see him as a weapon. He's a piece because he's a tight end and he's obviously competent, but I don't see him as like, oh, with Dallas got her now this team can elevate. Now this offense, blah 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 blah. Also, now you have Sean Mannion. But I do think it's still important to have that continuity and I still think he obviously also cares. He's engaged. He wants to get after it. He's fiery and which I do appreciate, right? Like so he's about it. He's about football. He wants to get after it. He's focused. And so those are all things that I'm like, yes, 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 yes. Bring it up. But it would still be nice to have that tight end who, is there who can do damage, who is an actual weapon for your quarterback and not just a piece for your offensive coordinator. And because you need a tight end, you need a wide receiver, you need a running back. Like that's a difference to me. Those are a different to me. The whole thing with A.J. Brown, I mean, again, it all seems all but certain they're just going to trade him in or no, excuse me. If they were going to trade him, it would be after June 1st, right? Just because of the dead cap and all of that. And that makes sense. And if you were going to trade him before that, then you want that haul. And then you can if you're going to take on the dead cap, you at least get to benefit now from like an immediate first-round pick this year. You can kind of start to offset isn't the right word, but you can start to try to your best sort of like restore balance. But the Eagles aren't afraid of dead cap money. They've notoriously taken on plenty of dead cap. I think it's like a lot of these Super Bowl winners have plenty of dead cap. The Chiefs, the Eagles, etc. Like. It's just part of doing business. So, people always automatically get scared of dead cap. I mean, it's a very scary phrase, dead cap money. But it's just part of football. It's just part of it. And that's why you got to have someone who knows what they're doing, right? You got to have a front office that knows how to navigate this, knows how to weigh the pros and cons and all of that. I mean, the Broncos with Russell Wilson's dead cap and there's lots of teams that were like, they can't do this, they can't do this. Well, they did and they got to an AFC championship game in year 2. Quite frankly, should have gotten to a Super Bowl if Bo Nix doesn't get injured and yet they had the absolute fallout from the Russell Wilson move. It just is what it is. So you can't that doesn't automatically deter you from making the right move. Sometimes it still is the right move regardless of a dead cap situation. But like I always try to emphasize when having these types of conversations. I think it's really difficult to figure out which is why then I cut off, Chase Daniel. Chase I never is it Chase Daniels? Chase Daniel. So hard to know all the McDaniels. The McDaniel the McDonald. The McDonalds can never keep up. Everyone needs to just either add an S to your name or take away an S so we can all just keep it the same. McDaniels, Daniel, it's never ending. Never ending. But like, talking about the writing on the wall, there's been some inconsistent quarterback play. Did he win a Super Bowl? Did he go to multiple Super Bowls? How did his quarterback play in the Super Bowl? How did Drake May play in the Super Bowl? I want to know, how did Drake May play in that Super Bowl? How did Patrick Mahomes play in the Super Bowl in 24? That's interesting, right? How did Brock Py play in the Super Bowl? How did Jimmy Garoppolo play in the Super Bowl? How did Joe Burrow play in the Super Bowl? Stafford, I made those little graphics, big graphics, showing you just how elite Jalen Hurts' quarterback performances were and compared them to all the guys, all the names, and showed you just how high level it truly was, especially when you're talking about direct comparisons to these other guys who played. And so, pretty good, right? A.J. Brown year after year after year after year after year with Jalen Hurts topping in receptions, topping in touchdowns, tops in yards, like he's always literally right there. And in some of the categories that he might not technically be right there. It's just like if he gets like one more touchdown or something, he skyrockets to like top 4. Like it's just like, again, I have those videos too where it's just like, what more you want? And again, not to mention 24, he missed like 3 or 4 games or however many games it was, right? So, it's just like, what are we talking about here? With him reading a book on the sidelines in 2024, if he actually played full 17 games, he would have been third. Third in the NFL in receiving yards. Third and just a few yards away from being second. Just so we're clear, all these other guys. 17 games, 17 games, 17 games, 17 games, 17 games, 17 games. When you look at yards, 15, 15, 16, 17, 17, 17, 17. The one outlier, A.J. Brown and Devontae, and yet they're both over 1,000. That's pretty good, right? For a disengaged wide receiver with the raining on the wall, with the inconsistent quarterback play. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. And then he would have literally been 5th in touchdowns. 5th. So he'd be 3rd, maybe even dare I say 2nd in receiving yards and 5th in touchdowns, and easily could be again 2nd, because the math would equal him to be about have 10 touchdowns. Not hard to imagine that he could have had one more or more than that, right? So again, but at the bare minimum at least 5th. It's like what? What? What more do you want? No. Being top in the NFL in receiving touchdowns and being top in the NFL and receiving yards is not enough as a wide receiver. It's not enough. I want more. Okay, buddy. What do you I don't know what else I can give you. What do you want? There's only, so you want my shirt. I don't understand. I swear, man. I swear it's just crazy. We'll just leave it at that for now. We'll just leave it at that for now. But yeah, I think the Eagles have been making really skillful moves so far this off-season. I don't know how they're going to fill up the hole of Jan Dotson. I don't know. I don't know how they're going to. That is a serious hole that they're going to have to figure out. A serious hole, as Adam Shaper put it. That is a hole. That is a problem. That is a problem. A.J. Brown reading books, and I just don't know, man. The inconsistent play out of Jalen Hurts. If there's one thing we know, Matthew Stafford is known as Mr. Consistent. Joe Burrow, Mr. Consistent. Jordan Love, absolutely Mr. Consistent. Drake May, yeah, you saw him in Super Bowl. Brock Purdy, nothing but consistent. Dak Prescott. We know that no matter who he's playing, no matter what team he's playing, whether it's the playoffs, regular season, week 7, divisional round, we know he plays exactly the same. If he's in the NFC Championship, he's never been in NFC Championship game. Never mind. Sorry. I got confused for a second. Trevor Lawrence, we know he's Mr. Consistent. Sam Darnold, I mean, that's been Sam's reputation his whole career, right? Mr. Consistent. Josh Allen, we know him. Justin Herbert. We know Justin Herbert no matter again whether it's the playoffs, regular season, week 7. We know that. Mr. Consistent out there. Jalen Hurts. Oh, he's actually super consistent. He plays better in the biggest moments, in the biggest games. Oh, okay. Jared Goff. Hey, his last playoff game he was pretty consistent, right? Pretty consistently turned the ball over. M. Jones, I love the consistency level out of him. Kirk Cousins, is that guy still playing? Bo Nix, is that all people said all last season was how consistent he was? I remember that, right? Every single week they were like, boy, Boone Nix is consistent. Jane Daniels, unfortunately for him, can't stay on the field. Tyler Shock, that bro is a rookie. Marcus Mariota, backup quarterback, 3rd string, 2nd string, 1st string, I don't know. Caleb Williams, Jalen Hurts in his 2nd season got to a Super Bowl. Caleb Williams didn't. Patrick Mahomes. Well, we know Patrick Mahomes, right? C.J. Stroud. What's there more to say? Kyler Murray. Oh, no. According to, Monty Jones, he'd rather have Kyler Murray over Jalen Hurts. Like, do you understand when we actually look at these quarterbacks on a list and you say like inconsistent quarterback play? Like, do you like show me the quarterbacks who were just like, yeah, man. We just know without a shadow of a doubt. Like just show me the names. Where are they? Where are they? Baker Mayfield. I don't know who Tua Daniel Jones. Did you see Daniel Jones try to be big against the Kansas City Chiefs? He could not do it. They lost that game specifically because Daniel Jones could not elevate in that game. Without a doubt, all the big plays were Shane Steichen. When it was time for Daniel Jones to make a play, he could not do it. Just a fact. So, just name the quarterbacks. Lamar Jackson balling out in those playoff games. Yeah, you betcha. Gosh should turn this into a whole separate video. Ridiculous. Those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about everything? I guess we talked about Dallas got it. We talked about A.J. Brown. We talked about Jalen Hurts. We hit all the common Eagles beats. Although Dallas got her getting some love right now. But let me know your thoughts. I read every single comment. It's whether you agree with me or disagree with me. Either way, let's get to some discussions. Let's get to some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.